watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business. My name is Kelly Bolton, and thank you for tuning in as we have the distinct pleasure of hosting our community's foremost leaders, entrepreneurs, and civic heroes. In a world of rapidly evolving technology, industries must learn to adapt and adopt to be successful. We're thrilled today to have Casey Shockey, President of Chief Engineering, and he's going to be our guest today as his company certainly is on the cutting edge of technology. Chief Engineering is a 7-year-old Memphis-based engineering and design firm focusing on creative, high-impact solutions using advanced technology such as 3D scanning, drones, and digital modeling. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Casey to our show. So Casey, thank you for being on our show. I appreciate you coming.
You're welcome, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
Well, great. Well, you came highly recommended, so I'm thrilled to hear about what you do. Chief Engineering. Well, when I think of Chief Engineering, I'm thinking buildings and roads and that sort of thing. But that's not exactly the kind of engineering you're doing. Can you tell me about your company?
Yes, so we're Chief Engineering. We specialize in industrial engineered solutions. So we're working in any space where somebody is manufacturing something, taking a raw ingredient to a finished product. And one of the main reasons we chose the name Chief Engineering is because if you have any major project that really requires a lead, you need a chief engineer. And if you don't have one, we have a place where you can get one.
So you're an outsourced chief engineer.
Exactly. We're an engineering services provider.
That is very interesting. So, and your main part of the engineering you do, is it just in this one particular sector of engineering, or do you do all types of engineering?
Well, globally speaking, it's problem solving, right? So
Right.
An engineer by nature is a natural problem solver. So where we specialize is coming in and bringing all the necessary tools together to solve a particular problem. So as I mentioned, we're working in manufacturing and heavy industrial environments. So that could use mechanical, that could use civil, that could use structural, electrical, plumbing, all different types of engineering disciplines in order to solve a specific problem. So being the chief engineer, we really want to listen to our clients. We want to ask effective questions. We want to get the necessary feedback to put all the parts together to solve that person's issue.
Can you give me maybe an example of a project that maybe you've been hired to do, so I can understand, because instead of somebody having a chief engineer on staff,
Sure.
they say, we have a need for an engineer, they're going to call you, and then how would this work? Give me an example.
So typically our ideal clients have a small engineering department that are running a multitude of projects within their organization, and they need that extra capability of the discipline calculations, the modeling, the drafting, the 3D technology for measurements and whatnot, and we bring all that together. So example projects would include plant expansions, process changes. Let's say we're doing a certain type of chemistry one way and we need to make a different molecule. Well, that's going to require different
This
heat
is like over my head. I mean, this is not at all what I think of when I think of engineering. I mean, you're talking molecules and I'm thinking science, and you're talking a plant and I'm thinking warehouse workers, and so engineering is covering all of these things.
All of those bases.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. So. It's really having to do with more processes, which you hear consultants come in and
Sure.
work on processes and things like that. But this is it's a much more technical based
Very technical,
process.
very business driven. So for instance, many of our clients, when we do an expansion, it's always for an end goal of being able to produce more revenue, do things more efficiently, do things more profitably. So we'll look at their existing conditions and we'll develop several options on ways they can potentially improve their output, their throughput, whatever they're trying to improve. So basically taking their paper napkin concepts and developing them into something that's actionable and installable.
Interesting, very interesting. Completely different than what I was expecting. You know, I thought I understood your company, and this is great. So I understand, you know, career paths take turns. How did you end up deciding to start this company? I understand the need for it now.
Well, truth be told, I wanted to be a pilot.
Well, there you go.
My family was in aviation, and my love for anything mechanical, boating, cars, airplanes, kind of led me down the path of transitioning to engineering. I worked in a fab shop for a long time and worked directly with the owner. I went into bulk solids handling and got a lot of industrial experience there that I still carry today. And really what drove me to wanting to have my own firm is to be able to be truly that problem solver, that people can rely on to, hey, if I got a problem, I'm gonna call Casey. He'll be able to figure out how to solve it.
Right.
So bringing the creativity together, the mechanical abdomen or ability, and all the kind of macro things that go into problem solving, and being able to understand all the micro details that go along with it, and how to essentially make a product out of it, is the reason I started. I mean,
well, that's really. Can you tell me about like some of your most interesting projects and kind of some of the challenges you've had with those? So you talked about a napkin, so
yeah, paper napkin to a finished product. We've done major expansions. For instance, in the mining industry, I don't know if you would realize that the fertilizer that you get in Home Depot is basically rolled up clay that's powdered with a little bit of chemicals and distributed on your lawn.
No, I did not realize that. Like I said, it's like, this is, I mean, all over my head.
So our client had a need to increase their capacity. They contracted us to work through all the options, all the obstacles, all the challenges to figure out how that would be possible. But essentially what we're doing is taking dried clay, we're rolling it, we're coating it with a little bit of compound and putting it out into the consumer's realm to fertilize.
And they want to produce more.
They do.
You're trying to figure out what's the best way for them to produce more.
What's the most
Can you
efficient
do it within
way?
the space you have? Do you need to add on? Do
all
you need
those
more
questions
machines?
get answered. Yes.
Interesting.
So,
and what was your challenge in doing that?
There were many challenges.
Yeah.
Throughput was one, trying to figure out how we could get the right equipment into a building that had limited space, and how all these pieces, I like to equate them to Legos, right? We need to build up all these Legos in a certain fashion to get a throughput. So using some of our scanning technology, we're able to spatially gather their existing conditions
So interesting.
use each piece of equipment like a Lego. Okay, we know a
So
process.
you're doing some spatial, this 3D visual, and you're placing the equipment
Exactly.
in there.
So we got a process.
Like a video game.
Exactly. We got a process. We know the equipment we're going to use. We know the space we can use, and then we essentially stack everything together.
That is so interesting. Well, we're going to pause and take a break, and we're going to come back to that. Thank you, Casey. Those were like incredible insights. And we're going to pause, take a short break, as I said. And so I hope you'll stay with us. We'll be right back with more from Let's Talk Business.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to another season of Red Devil Postgame.
So GHS-TV tries to model a real working station.
I really thought it was cool when I first started studio and all the opportunities that it was able to provide for me.
That would be 36 out of 36.
It's a rigorous class that demands a lot from students.
At times you are going to be thrown into the fire to where you're just going to have to figure it out yourself.
Which is really great because then we gain more knowledge. Our teachers will give us how to start, but then we're left to make up the whole entire process.
It just seems to me it's not enough space in the beginning. If it's not, let's figure out what we can do.
They can be a producer, they can be a director, they can work graphics and learn audio. They can go out and shoot field reports.
Akila, back to you.
And it's a challenge to throw them into the environment and say, here's a camera, go out and record this interview and some B-roll. But those are the challenges that grow students to do bigger projects.
Welcome to Red Devil Newsbeat.
In GHS-TV, we have a variety of shows. We have Crosstalk.
Hello, and welcome to GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk.
We have Insider, which is all about Germantown.
Hello and welcome to GHS Insider, the show that's all about the G.
Some things that I've learned from this class is that how to work as a team.
We learn how to communicate better with people.
Something I'll take with me from in the future is their slogan, check, double check, and check again.
There's so many different things you can do here. I would say take risks. Push yourself further than you think you can go, and we will help guide you there.
Go Red Devils!
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Business. If you're just tuning in, I'm Kelly Bolton, and today we've had the distinct pleasure of talking with Casey Shockey, President of Chief Engineering. So please join me as I welcome Casey back to the program. So Casey, we were just talking about this project and all of the components that go, and something I thought that was interesting that I wanted to make sure our viewers heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, we talked about during the break, is that Chief Engineering has a mechanical engineer and maybe a chemical engineer and all these different engineers. So because you're building out a project, doing something like you said, expanding to build more fertilizer is going to require all these subspecialties.
Correct.
And instead of somebody going out and having to hire one, they come to you and all of your team will gather together, figure out the way to collaborate and how it can work, and then you as kind of project manager would make sure it all comes together, kind of quarterback the operation, instead of having to farm out, piece by piece by piece.
Exactly.
Which is really interesting, and I would think from a financial perspective, and my background is finance, money management, I would think, because I'm always thinking about money, that it would be much more profitable for a business to hire you. It's all in-house, y'all are all there together, you're talking together, than to go out and for me to try to sub it out to a bunch of different people, or to hire somebody to work for me to do it, because I don't need probably that person on a daily basis. I would think it would be very cost effective.
Yeah, I mean, we basically are an extension of your operations or engineering department, whatever the case may be. You charge us with pulling together all the necessary resources to make sure you're successful. It is definitely an advantage to an end client who may not have the resources in-house or needs to get a lot done to bolt on somebody like our group who can really take the reins and drive a project to success.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, let's talk about what I think is the fun stuff. Drones, artificial intelligence, 3D scanning. I mean, this is so futuristic to me.
All the buzz.
And it's all happening right now. It's not the future, it's today. So for our viewers and those people kind of like me, can we kind of break it down? Because I know there's the future, but we have this today. So let's define what a drone is, and then let's define what 3D scanning is, and let's define our AI, and then how they're pulling together kind of in your business.
So I'll take spatial scanning first, and the best way to think of it is like Google Earth, right? You zoom in with the satellite and you get closer and closer, then it kind of gets grainy, right?
No, it's crazy because you can zoom in on my house and see my backyard and everything. Yes, exactly.
So a drone platform takes that a step further, right? So we can get dimensionally tighter. We can use thermal imaging on the drone to look at specific things.
So the drone actually flies through the warehouse?
It can fly through, it can fly above. There are many types of drones out there that can do all sorts of things.
And this drone is assessing the space for different things that you need to assess it for, either measurements, heat,
inspections, all sorts of different applications. It's really kind of mind-boggling what all these things can do.
Because it used to be a human being that would have to go out and walk it and count.
In the 70s, you'd fly a plane for surveying. Now they're doing it with drones. Same in the agricultural fields with fertilizing and such. But the drone platform allows us to get a lot more detail than you could off of Google Maps. Zoom in a little bit further, you get to terrestrial scanning, which is a tripod-based unit that's accurate to a 16th, 32nd of an inch. And you zoom in a little bit further, you get to our handheld units that's accurate to 9/10,000ths of an inch as far as accuracy goes. So in our line of work, having specific measurements be off is not acceptable.
Right.
So we have all these different platforms to ensure that the measurement and dimension gathering side of our business is almost, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
We capture it, we know it's right.
Yeah,
And we
that's
start from a
amazing.
good basis. Now on the AI side, I'm going to struggle with this one because it's mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling.
It is. The capability is there. Obviously, it needs to be vetted, and you have to be stewards of what you're doing and handle it in the right way. But the growth and the accelerated growth that's happened in the recent 2 years is just, it's going to be interesting the way it develops, and we must be stewards of that type of technology because it will have a major social impact.
Well, it's interesting that you said that because I know AI can now, pick up this and push it over here. And my daughter was in Dallas and got served at McDonald's by a robot, and they made the fries. And, I sat next to a gentleman on an airplane, and he does consulting work for engineering and artificial intelligence. And he was saying that, there's robots that they can make beds in a hotel room. And so interestingly, the company I work for, we just put out a report about, the difficulty for college students graduating and getting jobs, which is something I want to talk about later, because, AI taking over what used to be the person walking around and doing the survey and putting the bottle top on, and now, all of those things. And it was just talking about the areas of impact from AI. But if you're really smart, you've got to figure out, okay, this is where it's going, but there's got to be a human that creates the technology. So, and then what about 3D scanning? Is that still the same thing as drones, 3D scanning?
Yeah, well, take that back. You have scanning, you have photogrammetry, you have all these different disciplines to capture dimensions. Scanning itself is LiDAR driven, so a laser beam goes out from this device and comes back and gives you a distance, right? And you do that millions and millions and millions of times to make up something like the studio here. It's also stitched together by positions. So if we wanted to capture the studio we're in right now, we'd scan it in 5 or 6 different locations and mesh it all together to create this digital space that we could then take into the computer environment and do all of our design work.
Okay.
We know everything within this room within a 32nd of an inch.
It's just, it's just mind-boggling. Well, we're going to keep talking about this because I think we need to have an extension of this show. I think this is an absolutely fascinating perspective that Casey's giving us. So we're going to take another short break. So please stick around as we continue our discussion with Casey Shockey and their impactful work and services.
So my belief is that band is the life of the school. If the band's not fun, the school's not fun. 2, breathe, and.
Germantown High School Band is unique because we do marching, we do concert. Our director, Jeremy Thompson, brings an energy to this band that's very unique from all the other schools in Memphis.
We offer several special groups. We have 2 percussion classes that are very unique. They operate outside the general band program. They do their totally own thing. We also have a jazz band that functions on its own. The great thing about the jazz band program is that it's mostly student-led.
Jazz music teaches you how to move with agility and precision, while classical music teaches you how to play with feeling and emotion.
We have 2 concert band classes. We have the Varsity Winds, that's our highest performance ensemble, that's audition, and that's where our Kappa students reside in that higher ensemble. We have an intermediate band class as well.
Marching band has probably been the most enjoyable experience for me.
We had such a fun time at the football games, getting to play our music and share our music.
We try to get out there and make sure that the team is happy, the coaches are happy, and that for the most part, the student body is happy.
I enjoyed band a lot. I loved being in the class.
Play D with that fingering.
It's very energetic, it's very intense, and I feel like that fits our atmosphere and our community in the band.
One major thing we push in band is just being a better person, being able to see something through to the end, cooperation, problem solving, all those lifelong skills you need as a young adult and into your future adulthood.
If you're ever hesitant about learning an instrument or think it's really hard to do, yes, it is, but don't be as scared. There in this program, you will learn how to play that instrument and you will learn how to develop into a better person. And I think that the band program will be great for you to join.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Business. I'm your host, Kelly Bolton, and today we've been talking with Casey Shockey, President of Chief Engineering, and the tremendous success and growth that they have experienced. Casey, I don't even know where to start because we're like on 3D scanning, drones. I mean, it's a futuristic world. I remember there was a show I used to watch as a kid, and it was about robots, and now it's like a real thing, and so it's crazy. What would you say is when you see the future of your industry, maybe this is the answer, it's evolved so quickly over recent years. What do you think has evolved the most?
Oh, wow, that's a powerful question there. The most, I mean, early in my career, I'd walk around with a sheet of paper, a tape measure, and I'd go out there and spend weeks measuring.
Yeah.
The spatial capture ability, speed is just, it's night and day different.
Right.
On the calculation side, I mean, the computers are more powerful. They can almost react as fast as you can think and convince them to do what you want them to do. But I think the spatial data gathering has by far been the biggest thing that I've seen change.
Do you think that it has made you be able to be more productive and then take on more, or maybe, just for example, maybe you could have only handled one project before because it would have taken you a week to do what a drone can do in an hour. So are you able to be more productive?
We are, significantly.
And then in some ways, I don't know if, because for me, technology has made me far more productive in the financial services world, far more productive, but at the same time, it adds a whole different level of stress, because I counted the other day, I have 2 cell phones and a work phone, each which get text and voicemail. I have 4 emails, each which get obviously emails. And so when you figure all the ways that you can get text, voicemail, email, communication, and then I'll sit with 3 computer monitors, so I can have 3 things going at the same time. And it used to be, I think back when I started doing what I did, I had one phone that got voicemails and I had a computer. And it was one screen, the computer was this big, and I didn't have the internet, and I needed to research something. I went to the library and pulled a book off the shelf. I mean, it was just crazy. So I can do so much more, but it also, you feel it sometimes like it's coming at you from all different directions.
From 360 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you were thinking about, you know, we're being filmed here in Germantown High School, and we've got all these tremendous high school students around us filming, and they're smart and they're behind the camera, so they're running all this technology and, you know, engineering of sorts, and I'll have to show you the technical room. It's fantastic. And that kind of intersection between creativity and STEM that exists, you know, it just seems like that's a fascinating solution. So if you were giving advice to high school students, no, I know everybody didn't have an aptitude toward the same things, STEM and that sort of thing, but advice to high school students that have an interest in pursuing your field, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to keep the creativity and be eager to continue to teach yourself long term. Find what you're passionate about. Find what really drives you. You'd be amazed how many people in the engineering field succeed more on the way they can creatively solve problems than they do on the actual textbook style, you know, calculations and math. Now, yes, in engineering, you're going to go through all that, but being able to take that knowledge and come up with creative designs and creative solutions is what's going to set you apart. And being young and in high school, you're learning how to learn. Embrace that, because when you get older and out in the real world, you're going to want to continue to grow. And you should be teaching yourself or seeking out knowledge as much as possible.
No, I think that's really good advice. And, you know, a lot of these students that film the show, they're in the plays, so they are very creative students and all very bright students. And it just, you know, there's so much to learn. And you know, you graduate from high school and you have to pick a college, and then you pick a major, and you don't even know what your major you want to do. You have no idea. I mean, and you feel like you start out, you graduate, and you've got to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. But you know, as they approach college and even in high school, you know, are there certain things that you would recommend that they get involved in, like, you know, internships, networking, skill building, things like that?
In my field, get involved in everything you can. I mean, obviously we have a limited amount of time within the day, but if you have an interest in something in science, math, arts, what have you, get involved. When you're in college, make sure you're doing internships, make sure you're doing co-ops, make sure if you are going to go the engineering professional route, that you take some of the EIT, the engineering and training tests while you're in school, because that'll set you up professionally to get your professional license. No matter what path you go, if there are certain steps to get to an accreditation, start researching those in college. See if you can take them while you're learning about them and it's fresh on your mind. But bottom line is to get involved as much as you can while maintaining your grades, of course.
Right.
But the more you're involved in networking with other individuals, the better you're going to be connected, the better you're going to be prepared for that next phase of life.
And would you say that to be an engineer, you have to be the smartest person in the whole wide world? I mean, because when people start thinking about STEM, it scares them some, you know, science, technology, and I mean, it seems scary. I mean, it can be done with effort, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
the effort, the drive, what's in the individual themselves is really going to make the difference in whether they succeed or they don't succeed. Engineering is somewhat technical, but with anything you're studying, literature, history, art, there are complexities within those that are difficult too.
Right.
So it really comes down to looking inward and making sure it's something that you're going to be passionate about for a long period of your life.
Well, I think that's really, really good advice. I mean, I love to mentor young people, and when I see young, bright people, and they have the world ahead of them and all the exciting things that they can do, I think you're right. Find something that you're passionate about and give it your all. And your all does not necessarily have to be that you succeed every time. I mean, you learn through your failures. So this has really been great. I mean, I will tell you, as we wrap up the show here, I will say that the one thing that you did give a whole new perspective for me is I have friends that are engineers, but you know, the world typically thinks of an engineer as the person that sits, you know, kind of in a quiet hole and doesn't, you know, and you've got a dynamic personality, so you can kind of bring all these things together. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Once again, we'd like to thank Casey Shockey for being with us today, and we thank you for tuning in. To get more information on our show, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion, and I hope you will join us again next month on Let's Talk Business.